Manor One is our home building strategy for containing your healthcare expenses. If you look at your healthcare expense over the last 10 years, you'll find that our activities at Manor One are designed to make you healthier, contain your costs. It's something that we happen to be passionate about. As part of our movement of building homes that are healthy for us, building homes that have the things we need, and have the things we need where we need them. We have done a meticulous amount of research. I'm going to go over some of the highlights, which includes a strategy of starting with new homeowners, folks that are interested in buying a new home, to be precise. The Again, the expenses over time, healthcare expenses tied to poor design, poor distribution of public health strategies for containing costs. The WHO points to 31 contagions that are include foodborne illnesses that are an epidemic throughout the world, which 600 million people the whole world over are afflicted with these every year. And there's not a concerted effort to prevent these things from getting into your home. Manor One, is the model of how to get out of that. It includes bricks and mortar, right down to equipment, down to personal hygiene kits. Built for physicians, those that are health conscious, those that are spending time in a place that has disease and illness, so that they can come home to their castle, come home to Manor One, and have everything and anything they need to have themselves cared for. Three of those things that we noticed in our research was the need for redoing the toothbrush, something we call teeth brash. Toothbrush specifies that you'll have only one. The teeth brash system is for those that want to keep all of their teeth and not have any disease. So what's interesting is the reuse of a toothbrush happens to be a key transmission method of microorganisms from you to you. And so we don't want you to get, thrush, from your own toothbrush. And so we don't call it a toothbrush anymore. We call it a teeth brash, using the Stark. And so that effort is part of how we get rid of, thrush and 30 other microorganisms cited by the WHO. We have a electronic toothbrush system. It's an integrated system that includes rotating heads. It also includes a methodology for cleaning those heads, and a handle of which there's multiple upgrades available, from the plastic all the way up to stainless steel. We think that treating the instruments in your home like instruments of public health is part of the solution, and so we're offering design options, that have a medical style. And so, that's the birth of the toothbrush system. The second thing is the Rad Razor program. What's really fascinating is how the traditional foams aren't cleaning your face at all. When for those of you that are shaving and applying shaving foam, you're basically potentially at worst spreading microbes through a foam and across your face. Again, is another way that people are routinely spreading disease from themselves to themselves. And so we have the system of Redere, which is the Latin. The Redere for physician shaves, professional shaves, which is uses a novel lubricant. It's a sanitizer instead. and comes with a system for cleaning the handle and cleaning the razor, as part of the kit, um, with the intention of, again, providing a higher quality public health experience. Again, the design um, includes planning for higher quality reusable supplies. The third item is electric clippers, which is an item that some physicians choose to do rather than having other folks cut their hair. And so the concept for that is a klepper, which comes from Middle Dutch for the fast ship. It comes from the design, and for those of us who are competitive swimmers, having a klepper is a fast ship. Um, in competitive swimming, where we remove body hair for competitive swimming purposes. The That includes a Bayorg, which is Old English and Dutch for a lodge of quarters. So there's a lodge and a quarters for that electric clipper, and that also uses public health best practices for sanitation of the klepper. So we're excited to offer those three new instruments for those that are caring for themselves. Those are things that can be replicated, at in the locker room at the hospital, the medical clinic. We think that increasing the standards for sanitation, particularly among hygiene kits, makes tons of sense for caring for our caregivers. One of our beliefs at Manor One. Again, if you look at healthcare expenses, one of the key issues is having degreasing solutions in folks' homes. There's microbes that are lipid philic, which means they like lipids. And so having a degreaser plan is key to Manor One, key to the construction of a home. Everything from small amounts of right down to your phone. Having the right sort of coating on your smartphone that's designed, which some makers do have a like hygienic layer, so that even finger touching on your phone, doesn't become as infectious. It's repels lipids from glass, and again, these products can be incorporated into your home, into your interface on your technology. It happens to be part of a system that we're trying to build at Manor One. The degreasing system goes all the way from pots and pans to your smartphone, and that would include having a cabana panel for hot water in the home, of which just having the real-time heating technology that some hot water heaters are offering. There's a new opportunity for having, instead of a large amount of water being boiled all the time, of having new, real-time heating of water for showers, and also for key functions, on the cabana panel, which includes, pasteurization. We think that the modern home should have on-demand boiling water for pasteurization. That's a process that has been proven. Goes back to Louis Pasteur. We know that adding that system to medical scientists, physicians' home makes all the sense in the world. The only reason it's not there is, that we haven't had the imagination to do it yet, and it's time to do that with Manor One. And we have a plan for implementing that, for pasteurization, also for cleaning surfaces, cleaning appliances, in a way that makes sure that you have all the tools you need to remove greases from your house, and microbes, which are again two qualitatively different things. They require two qualitative different plans. Um, moving on, we have a plan for a cyclone style toilet, which offers refilling kits, so that the cleaner for the toilet is inserted like you insert fluids into your car, and so it's very straightforward. Eliminates the complication of having to reach you know take your take time out of your day and go through cleaning your toilet. The technology is there for us to have major surfaces cleaned routinely. Um, and so we offer that technology at Manor One. Um, Again, we orient our homes with Manor One based on optimizing UVA, UVB sunlight. Sunlight is one of the better disinfectants. It's incredibly underutilized in home design. Um, in the ancient world, it was far more used than it is today. We think that again, having a lighting plan is one of the first parts of construction, then having a sanitizing plan and looking at where UVA, UVB lighting can be used. Bathrooms are the kinds of rooms in the home that should have full southern light and on all key surfaces. That approach and strategy will be hugely successful in reducing transmission of those 31 microbes the WHO is talking about. Um, Dehumidifying. What's really interesting is having a home-wide program of dehumidifying, making sure that your home has the proper humidity. If you look at the 31 separate microorganisms, they each have a different sensitivity to moisture and dryness. And having a clear plan of how you can bring the humidity in your house down is really important. As with the whole plan of how you remove water from the house, again, which is we start with a lighting plan and then a water plan. We think that those are key to design. We think that the current home designs that are out there have not done those things because again, we're fundamentally not using UVA, UVB lighting for sanitizing surfaces. We're fundamentally not using the basic dehumidifying technology throughout homes, and we can. We offer what is the hurricane survival style cinder block design, which is proven to be successful. In parts of the country that undergo high winds. The cinder blocks happen to be an exceptional building material, exceptionally safe when compared to other alternatives. Particularly, if you look at cleaning, cinder blocks can be finished and cleaned, and that difference in construction philosophy is different from other builders, again, that are trying to make money marking up wood and selling wood to you, marking up other materials. And so, fundamentally looking at what are the sanitizable surfaces, finishable surfaces. The cinder blocks happen to be incredibly safe, finishable. They're also able to be cleaned, finished and cleaned, and they have an exceptional look. The galley, or the kitchen to the home, is one of the areas that has had the least amount of public health innovation. Our knowledge of how to lay out food preparation varies so heavily with how homes are designed. Again, that's one of the things that really inspires me at Manor One is building a system where people um, can love their food, um, can enjoy their food with family, and have safe food. And the which seem like really simple things. We know that there's tens of millions of cases of foodborne illness every single year. We know that the design of kitchens is implicated. Again, like greases, oils, fats, proteins, and sugars, and these things being cast throughout the kitchen in uncleanable ways is one of the root causes of disease, and one of the reasons, again, that we have a very rigorous, methodical design. Again, like if you think about, for those of you that are surgeons, how rigorous it is getting the FDA to approve medical device. The eating surfaces in your home are, they're a device. They're an instrument. The FDA has not approved the way that, we lay out kitchens. And you wouldn't use a non-FDA kitchen. The kitchens, in America and elsewhere in the developed world are not FDA approved. They're not safe. We have tens of millions of cases of foodborne illness every year, including in our own homes. And the simplest things that we rely on that you watched others do, maybe your mother, maybe your father, of how to prep chicken. Uh, we're eating unsafe food as a people so routinely that we need to dramatically rechange. And those that are passionate can join us at Manor One. Starting from scratch, you'll see what the possibilities are, which are really exciting. And so we talk about a home having a portico, a cursus, for grocery delivery, including from you. For those of you that have couriers that deliver, having a very clear way that groceries can be delivered to your home in a way that's safe and secure, from the exterior, which isn't a complicated system to design for. In an established home, it is. There was the time where homes would have more deliveries, and that's becoming more popular. Having deliveries of things that are cold and need to be kept cold need to have a place that they can go, and those can be designed again as part of a Manor One strategy. Also in the galley, and again, it's just that the portico for deliveries would be adjacent, to the galley, which is simple, to the kitchen, if you will. Again, having the storage system as FIFO, which is first in, first out, which is fundamentally not how kitchens are laid out. It's not how appliances are laid out. First in, first out is the right philosophy for how to manage inventory. In business and medicine, that's how we function, and we function on a FIFO basis. Your refrigerator is not structured that way, and so at Manor One, we have a very rigorous process of making sure that you can have a FIFO system. For frozen goods, for refrigerated goods, and for dry goods, and that happens to be essential as part of the Manor One philosophy. Is how do you get that FIFO system? It includes having certain redundancies. One of the ideas that makes all kinds of sense, public health wise, is having two dishwashers, having them having one that's clean and having one that's open for business, so that you always have a dishwasher that's open for business. We have a design that includes adding UVA, UVB sterilization techniques to the dishwasher, because that happens to be a high area of unclean foods. Can be a high area of stress for physicians as well. And again, the simplest thing, again, appliances in a properly planned design, appliances are not that expensive compared to other parts of the floor plan. Adding a second, when you look at the price of adding a second dishwasher to your home, and the happiness they'll give you, and having them make sense right next to each other, so that you always have a dishwasher that's open for business, so that when you're done with an item, you can, put it right where it belongs. It doesn't need to make a stop in the sink, where it's just festering with those 31 microbes. And again, we know that having two dishwashers is something that will pay off in reducing your healthcare expense. It fundamentally does. The diseases that are killed by dishwashing are things that cause healthcare expenses. And so, we want you to join us in this Manor One vision. Having value-added storage. So being able to do some basic steps. There's a time when people try to do canning in the house. We'll work with buyers that are interested in doing, some canning in the home. There are new reasons to look at sourcing some of your food production in the house. I happen to have worked at the largest crop protection division, which was at Land O'Lakes, where something I happen to be real passionate about. I worked there, when I was a youngster and helped integrate 3 mergers of crop protection services for farmers into one organization that could provide great service to farmers. So a farmer could pick up the phone and get all the crop protection they needed with one phone call. And that part of the green revolution has been so successful that the number of farmers that we've needed has decreased. And our food yields gone up and up. And one of the exciting things for those that want to be a part of this Manor One philosophy, fundamentally designing a home that's able to grow food indoors, able to grow food adjacent to the home, and again, the sorts of things that make sense, particularly for containing your healthcare costs, are getting the spices that you like to eat grown fresh inside your home. Again, which is something that I find so exciting. The opportunity is so great for you to have fresher herbs and spices grown right inside your home. And that's we fundamentally believe that that's the right direction for your health. When you look at how disease is transmitted in a home, spices and herbs, those containers are some of the filthiest items in people's homes. And if you look at the expense, if you're going to start in building a new home, work with us. I helped integrate the largest crop protection operation at Land O'Lakes, real trusted organization. We can grow the herbs that you want right inside your home. We can design a home that does that for you. That's going to be the safest and cleanest product that you can get your hands on. You'll realize, as you go through food prep, you can think about it. Like as you're touching spices and herbs, what was the last thing you touched? There's good evidence to suggest that, you look at spices and herbs, the ones that are in folks' residences and in commercial operations are filthy, to the point that it's worth growing it inside your own home. And then you've got, what you're eating. Fundamentally, we think that designing freezers and refrigerators for redundancy makes sense as much as it does for dishwashers. The concept is that you can have one refrigerator freezer that's open for business, that's filled with food, and the other one can be going through a clean cycle. And again, if think of the last time you cleaned your refrigerator, and again, taking an inventory of what the dirtiest things are, it happens to be like spices, sauces, herbs, meats, and then eggs. And if instead you have a system where you have one refrigerator that's open for business and one that's going through a clean cycle, that's how those of you that are surgeons, that's the mentality that you have if you're going to put something in a patient's body. And again, the pricing for those, having a second fridge is not that expensive relative to your healthcare expense. Designing for it in a new home, with us in Manor One, it isn't that complicated. It can look extraordinarily beautiful. Escaping out, a couple of stainless steel refrigerator freezers, and again, having one that's always open for business. Again, we fundamentally have that idea. The idea of having, physicians galley, like closed for business because we're cleaning, having their refrigerator contents removed, um, and warming up on the countertop, just to remove microbes doesn't make any sense. It's not how we operate. It's not how we're trained as medical scientists, and so we want to design a Manor One galley kitchen that's always open for you. And that redundancy as a price, it's nothing compared to your health. We want to add chef basins. The best practices for having a sanitary design includes having more basins, in the sink than we currently design for in a residence. Having a sink that is for degreasing, having a sink that's for detergent, and having a sink for sanitizer, of which very few physicians are aware that sanitizer is the standard. And again, I'm happy to discuss it at length with those physicians that are interested. But there are food grade sanitizers um, for every product that you use a second or more time at home that almost nobody uses in their residences. They're used in the highest quality environments, the highest regulated environments. And it's a whole class of cleaners that you might not be familiar with, but they can be planned for them to be in your home. And so having, at least three sinks is central to having a public health plan. That, and that's the right strategy. The next step is then having a place for the pots, pans, knives, with to be hung up as part of our touche pas system, which is French for don't touch. The items that we don't let children touch. And so having magnets are the best standard for hanging knives. Pots and pans need to have a place where they're hung up after they've been sanitized. And again, very few even have sanitizer in your homes today. Those pots and pans that haven't been sanitized are a source of diseases that you've contracted. If you look back at your healthcare expenses, you'll see that it's traced back and or likely complicated by food that you've eaten, surfaces you've eaten on. And, we have part of that solution, here at Manor One. We have a system of replaceable kits for cleaning silverware, glassware, that fit right into the countertop moldings. That it happens to be a good solution. Once you understand how valuable sanitizer is, you'll realize that having a nice removable aluminum kit that you can just degrease all your silverware and drop it right in sanitizer and know that it's going to be freaking perfectly clean. That's one of the promises of having reusable silverware. People shocked. People would be shocked by microscopy studies of silverware. I guess again, silverware is not, if it has not been totally degreased and sanitized, it happens to not be the highest standard of clean. And so we offer the options of aluminum replaceable basins, for cleaning, heavily trafficked items such as, the handles on ovens, the glassware and silverware. And those steps are huge. Having a place where those are specifically cleaned so that they're not sitting in the sink basin and competing with other space is key. Having everything in your kitchen have a place where it is when it's closed for business and having a place where it goes where it's open for business is key to the Manor One philosophy. Um, Having the range top, have a lot of oil phobic materials. And again, having, the modern range is not a very well designed product. Um, the accumulation on ranges is a problem, and something that we're working on a design for a range and range top that uses UVA UVB, that has some self-cleaning properties, and is able to be co-located with those self-cleaning properties. Again, something that we have a vision for doing with having a refrigerator and freezer, one that's always open for business, one that's under cleaning. And again, that strategy is something that can be extended to having a second range. There isn't a bad reason to have a second range. It happens to be a high traffic area for disease transmission because of how oily, greasy stains happen to hold microorganisms in them and lock them in with food. Because again, the oil is both a habitat and it's a source of food for microorganisms, which is gross, but that's part of, we have, 31, microorganisms that across the world cause 600 million disease events, incidents in a year. 600 million disease incidents, like foodborne illness, every single year, and it ties back to, microbes that like oil, that like grease, that like sugar, and they're in your bodies today. The evidence is that Americans have these parasites in your bodies today, and they're beatable. That's we're dedicated to doing that at Manor One. We talked about having a dual dishwasher. We didn't talk about how we have that fit into the display of clean dishes. We fundamentally don't believe in touching clean dishes. And so we have a design for what's described as a trom wall, again, which is a sunlit, passively heated area, based on the lensing, which we think is really exciting as a way to help sanitize and disinfect. And again, like the Manor One home design is heavily lit, again, filled with having fresh herbs. Imagine having 27 fresh herb planters throughout your home, that you're able to get fresh mint, fresh basil, right in your own home. That change in philosophy, and it takes work, but it's worth it. Those are the things that are worth having. Growing herbs in your home makes sense, fundamentally makes sense, and it always did make sense. Why didn't we do it? Well, we didn't have somebody trying to design Manor One and design ways for folks to grow food on the premises. Herbs make the most sense from a public health perspective. And for those of you that are more interested in adding shepherd production, again, I have a voracious appetite for adding greenhouses and shepherding. There are, E.O. Wilson, the late scientist, notes that there's 66 to 103 shepherd traditions of how we lived. Those other traditions of how we lived, they've been lost over time. I happen to be, deeply passionate about the ancient styles of shepherding, and how we can recover those in how we design our homes. That happens to be, the new ways of living predicated on tradition, and again incorporating public health standards that we would have in the medical environment back, into your home, which is what we're trying to do at Manor One. We have a plan of offering life insurance. I believe so deeply that Manor One residences will result in longer life expectancy. That I'm looking at adding a life insurance company. I think that that's really exciting. It's possible for us if you want to do large scale, agricultural work on a property that we can add farmers insurance to that. That's not what I set out to do, but I happen to know crop protection pretty well. Um, and having you know, um, a knowledge of crop protection, um, what's safe, what's not safe, what do you put right inside the home, what are things that you would put in a greenhouse. Those are very important public health decisions that have been made on the USDA, the Department of Agriculture side of our civilization, and not on the healthcare side of our civilization. But there are very good reasons to pull herbs into the house, grow herbs in the house, and get rid of the spice closet altogether. I mean, spice containers are filthy, routinely filthy. And if you look at, if you're not cleaning with, gloves on, you're getting sick from your spice cabinet, and you must basically in the way that it's designed. And basically, I want to convince you that we can do better, and that's why we're, doing Manor Life Insurance and Manor Farmer Insurance. Is that we know that we can actually make more money by keeping people alive, which is a bold thing to say. American life expectancy happened to have slowed and waned since 2014. I think that's an aberration. I think if you look at some of the reasons why, it happens to be poor design of our buildings, particularly our residences. I know that if you follow our system, that you can rid your life of parasites. Rid your house of parasites. Starting from scratch makes sense. And living up to the honestly, if you think of, for those of us that are medical scientists and physicians, there's no government regulator or accreditor of residences. You shouldn't think that folks that have been building homes understand anything about public health standards. There's no good reason to think that a kitchen should be laid out the way it's currently laid out. There are older traditions, more than what I can go into in this video, but we want to introduce old-time traditions style into your Manor One home. To have safe, clean food and water, safe, clean life, including, having those upgrades in the galley, upgrades, to surfaces in the home. And again, we feel so strongly that it'll reduce your healthcare expense that, we're looking at with our partners on how we can offer health insurance as well. Again, I have a master's in healthcare administration. I understand the healthcare field really well. Offering life insurance is really straightforward. If we know that you'll live a longer life, so it happens to be a good business for us to get into. The health insurance is a little more complicated to get into, but I'm very passionate about getting into that space. We're looking for Manor One donors. We're open to investors. We're interested in folks that want to buy and develop their own home. We're open to working with professionals and trades that want to be a part of something better than what they've been doing, to be a part of our public health mission. In designing homes for people that want to be disease-free and be rid of parasites. Those 31 parasites in WHO insists cause 600 million sick people every year. We know Americans are above those, are among those that get sick. We know that we can do better. We know Americans deserve better. We want you to join us at Manor One.